Well, as you've seen, it is possible to set a line thickness for a particular entity. It is possible to do the same as far as line type is concerned. If we zoom in on the edge of this decking area, you can see suddenly a dashed line appears, and if I select that line, let me just turn on line weight. That will make it a little easier. Now we can see the line clearly. If I select that line and look in the properties box, I've set its line weight to 6.6 millimeters, so we can see it easily, but the point of interest at the moment is to look at the line type. It's been set as a dashed line with a dashed 2 pattern. If I click on the down arrow here, you'll see the line type patterns that are part of gCADPlus. gCADPlus can load the same pattern file that AutoCAD uses. So there's a dash, a longer dash one is called dashed X2, and so on. So you can set a gas line or a fence line or whatever you want. Let's just see what happens when we set the fence line and we unselect all. Can you see we've got a sort of chain and wire effect? But let's go back to setting as dashed 2, I think it was. There's dash 2. Notice as we zoom out, and I'll turn line weight off, as we zoom out, the dashed pattern doesn't show until you zoom right in. So when it comes to plot, as it stands right now, if we plot this drawing, that dash pattern won't show. In order to make it show, we have to select it and change the line type scale. We might have to change that to a scale of 10. You can see how, and again I'll turn on line weight so we can see more easily what's happening. As I zoom out, now I can see that dash pattern, and you can see that the drafter here has created a shape for the, let's click on it, it's a polyline encompassing the whole area of the decking. So I imagine then that what he's done is to apply a hatch pattern to that zone. So I'll just select, that what's been done here is individual lines are put in there. So I'd be inclined now to remove those lines like so. We've got a couple more to remove, and I'll just check my current settings. My current settings are that I'm on a layer called 0. Let's set a decking layer, so now whatever I draw will be on the decking layer. Let's set our line weight to BYLAYER, because as we've discussed, I'd rather work my my line thickness out by layer rather than implicitly doing it. So there are our current drawing settings. So what we can now do is hatch that area. So draw, hatch, and we pick the polyline. That's not the polyline we want. This is the polyline we want. And hit the enter key, up pops the dialog box. It tells you we're using a hatch pattern, that gCADPlus ISO pattern. You could change your hatch pattern and pick up a different one if you wanted. I can pick up the CAD ISO, that's the standard AutoCAD one. I don't want a solid hatch pattern, but I want simply lines. I'm going to use lines to go through there. So here we are, line, parallel, horizontal lines. Notice in here the scale of 1 gives a density of 1800 lines. That's an arbitrary sort of figure, and this is not related to the spacing between them, so it's an arbitrary thing. You need to change that scale markedly so that if we go 0.01, can you see we get a huge number? So if we go to a scale of 10, the density goes down. If we make it 100, it goes down again. If we make it 1000, it goes down to 1.8. Let's try that, and there's our hatch pattern gone in. Clearly the scale isn't right, isn't correct. I've changed it to 200, see it come down. I'm guessing about a scale of 50 will give us the result close to what we want. So there's our hatch pattern in. So we digressed a little. We now have a dotted pattern around the area. That may be what you're after, and presumably that's what this drafter was after. So we're slowly improving the layout of this this design, and gradually sorting out some of the problems. If we wanted that to be a much bigger hatch pattern, let's change it to 20, because I still think it's a bit too dense. There, that gives us a different dash spacing. Dash lines are usually used for hidden lines underneath the bearers underneath the deck. Quite possibly here you could even remove that polyline if you wanted to at this stage. I'm not sure now that we need a heavy pattern, so let's put it to our preferred state and pick BYLAYER. So there's our dash line showing around there, so we hope that that's what the drafter had in mind here. Just want to select it again and just check how it moves through that area. So hopefully that leads on from our discussion of line weights. Now we know how to set a pattern for a line. So you might set different patterns for boundary lines and for hidden lines within a drawing. And certainly if you've got special fence lines or gas utility lines and so on, you can use a line type pattern to show that.